What the fuck? Well, I just deleted like 5 gigs of shit. Now it just won't get rid of this stuff. It's like, it can't be open because it's used by another task. But, look, I'm putting myself back up. Alright, I don't give a fuck. It does seem to be green. At least now. And I'm going to put the quality way back up. Because it doesn't seem to be making really any difference at all, so. Go back up to 4800. And then put the audio at 144. Oh, and also just do default medium CPU usage, standard quality. I mean, it's still green. But it is alternating, which is absolutely ridiculous because I straight up just cleared like 5 gigs. Okay, yeah, so if I just skip it, then it's fine. So now the trash is clear. So what up, gang? Let's see. We're gonna try to keep up the healing energy here. So I just cleared like 5 gigs from the cache. I cleared it on Chrome and on the CPU itself. 5 gigs of stuff, right? I go in here, I open it, I put the quality back to normal. Off. And probably gonna head out. Because I don't understand what the problem is. I keep searching stuff and going to stuff. People are like, oh, the log file, the DNS, this, that, the fucking... Dude, it's not even fucking worth it. I'll just not stream. How about that? CCleaner. It says the stream is healthy. I just don't even want to look at the OBS square. Dude, so true about Einstein. People never want to talk about that reality. I mean, the square is green. Now, it says the stream's healthy. I'll close out of some other stuff. I don't know. Maybe the good Lord is blessing me now. As soon as I say that, though, it's gonna be like, dip, 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 dip. It seems like it's working though. And I do have the quality set back to normal. Weird. What? I'll just put it at what it was before. It was like, I don't know, 4570 or something, and then like 192. Well, it's working now. Yo, I don't know, maybe it just took a second to figure out the deal. Because I just got rid of like 5 gigs apparently were in the cache. I cleared the Chrome cache and then the regular cache, and there were like 5 gigs in the regular cache. Johnny Cache. You know what I'm saying? And I'm closing out all this crap. We're over it now. Alright. What's going on, gang? It looks like it might be working. I've got GarageBand open. It still works. I've got GarageBand open and it still works. sort of a bit of a cute vibe to consider. It's funny though, because after all this, I'm like, all right, well, I guess that's the stream. I'm over it now. up, gang? How's it popping? Are you popping tonight? I sure am. It does look like, though, that there is still a lot of problems here. I have no idea what Ultimate Records is. Did you send it to me before? Because I don't remember that. Oh, Ultimate. Oh, God. I don't know what. Fucking eyes are killing me. Probably gonna head out soon, to be honest. We stream tonight after birthday dinner with the fam from my sister. Her real birthday is tomorrow. Double trouble. Well, it's funny you said that, Boba Fett, because I was just thinking that too, but I also may have just not seen what you sent. You know what I mean? But I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, like I'm trying to seem not ISFJ. I don't remember, you know. I could be. I don't know if you caught me talking about it a little bit, but it was cutting in and out, but you know, it's like it's definitely possible. I mean, one thing for sure is that I don't want my SI disturbed. And I do have pretty good FE. I was watching Jack's Socionics video on it, right? It's like, yeah, you know, it's a goal though, for sure. It's pretty funny though to compare me to like Oliver or something, you know. But I'm like, man, he's so together, you know. We'll see, you know. Like I really feel like it's kind of hard to get a real gauge on, like, I don't know, the just what really like works well for me, cuz I'll tell you this, having like good SI, like I need to have like good SI, and I need to, like, I don't know, just like do good in the world in a kind of FE way, I guess. But I liked the idea that the ISFJ is they have pretty good FE and pretty good FI. And while I may have an issue with the NE stuff and not really want to be an SI dom, for example, and I would think my NE is pretty good. They have an aesthetic idea and enjoy beauty and whatnot, right? And calm and peace and good, right? Just and love and good, you know. And the thing is, the ISFP, and I mean in MBTI, not in Socionics, is very like, they have polar NE, so like they're like the artists. So, you know, it's you don't have to necessarily have good NE, but Anyway, it looks like the stream quality is sucking again, so... Nice. I'll save this. Thanks, Boba Fett. I'm already into it. You just hear that second and I'm like, nice. Nah, it's just that art and the style here and everything. Very good. Did you just write that, though? Borderlands is neoclassical ambient minimalism at its very finest. Evan, aka Blue Tech, has produced a brilliant ambient. Like, did you just write that? Or is that from something? Because I was going to say, oh, wow, that's a damn good review. What's up, Genzenio? I just saw the emails, Mom and you, and hold on, let me just look at this. Yo, so I don't mind mentioning it. Now that you're here, I've been out of space, and I figured Boba Fett. I was gonna say, I was like, oh, neoclassical. I wouldn't even say that, you know. By the way, okay, so Jensenials is wanting to do good in the world from an FE, is FI talking, if it helps. Yeah, it's just, you know, I was watching although some things don't fit, I was saying, like, I definitely don't want my SI disturbed. I definitely SI at the expense of SE. And Jack's so in my life, that's what I mean when I say, you know, we'll see kind of thing, because I've been very SI, you know. Sorry, it looks like this stream's sucking again anyway. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much you heard, but whatever. More of the same, you know. At this point, I'm just interested in seeing what people get from me. I mean, you know, if it's ISFJ, great. If it's ENFP, great. I don't, you know what I mean? But I do feel like I'm kind of good at both, which, you know, I know that's, people don't like that, but it is what it is. I wouldn't say that about any other, like I could definitely say that although I think I have decent NI, in my opinion, right, that my NE is probably better, right? I guess I would think that my FI is better than my FE, but I would say they're both good. But when it comes to like SI and SE, my SI is only better in the sense that I tend to it. Yeah, I might want to do that, Genzenio. It's just, I've been liking having it at 1080p. Yeah, whatever though. I guess the last thing I was gonna say was something about. Oh, yeah, just that I suppose I SI at the expense of SE, so in that sense it's like better, but it sucks. You know, I hate doing. I mean, whatever. I think of SI. I never think of my ST functions as being that good, unfortunately. TITE. These days, I feel that my TI is actually a little bit better, you know, but I mean, I could easily see a situation where the TE comes out and is actually pretty good, you know, if I have a goal in mind to execute, however you want to, you know, frame it, you know, but like, but it's only FI and FE where I can say, yeah, the most probably the most elucidating thing that I had learned from the whole thing was probably Fi versus Fe. I was like, oh my gosh, that directionality, you know what I'm saying, makes so much sense. And you don't even really need typology to explain that, but I could tell that it was genius, right? Okay, but I do want to. I don't. Again, it's cutting out. Fucking bullshit. Sorry to curse. Okay, but yeah. Um, Right, but anyway, so let me preface this by saying, Jensennial, I would love to talk to you at some point off the stream. I'm so terrible about being in touch with people and stuff. I'm just gonna be honest, and say that in terms but I would love to talk. It's just okay. So like, Winston's mom made a thing out of that. That's not real. I mean, two things, right? Um, so so I'll explain for anybody, since I'm streaming, I have to give a little context. By the way, I was gonna write back, but I'm out of space, so I literally couldn't even finish writing the message because it was like it does this thing. See, I'll show you. Although I guess I don't have to, but it's just easier than to try to explain it. Well, now it's not even opening. But amazing. But what it does is it says your storage is full. You have to open your whatever, blah blah blah. You have to clear up space. So anyway, I couldn't write back yet. But whatever, you're here. I'm sure Winston's mom will be here. Not really a big deal, but it is kind of funny to explain, I guess, for the stream. Yeah, it did seem a little WME, right? I doubt you have that kind of immediate concern described, lol. Yeah, well, that's the thing, like, uh, and I was laughing about it because I was thinking, oh, now it's gonna look like I'm trying to seem like I don't have some hang up when I do. But I mean, you know me on the stream and everything. I'm pretty open about that stuff. All right, so I'll explain because it's kind of funny. Um, I was on Flow State stream recently, and some guy who was kind of interesting. They were talking about like flat Earth stuff, which obviously that's a whole other topic. But they started getting, whatever, very SP, or if you want to call it that type, right? Uh, you know how it is. They start talking about kind of more sexual stuff, and then this dude says something like, "Oh, I never get blowjobs or something, right? Because he didn't say it like I'm scared, but he said basically like it's too vulnerable. She could just bite down and basically all it takes is for her to bite down." He said something like that, and I got it immediately because that's something that I had considered. And you hear about that stupid case, right? Like the Lorena Bobbitt thing or something, right? It's just something that comes to mind every now and then, but uh, certainly not if you're not hooking up or whatever. So let me just explain. So basically, I mentioned it in Eric's stream just as like a like Winston's mom asked me, right? Like what'd you think of the stream, right? And I was like, oh, it's good. But I hate when it gets all it kind of used a bit of a strong word. I don't mean, but I was like, it's just that I can't say when it gets all like degenerate though, right? I start talking about getting all sexual and everything. But it was interesting, obviously the whole thing. And I'm just saying, I don't really care about the whatever. I'm not like, ugh, horrible sex, right? No, I don't care. But I thought the most interesting part was what that guy said, right? I was like, oh, I hadn't thought about that in a while, right? So, I mentioned, and it's funny because it very easily could be the kind of thing that I'd get hung up on. You know what I mean? Like, because I have that proclivity and sort of OCD ish kind of way, But like, nah, if so I mentioned it, and then she was like, I don't know, she seemed to take it pretty seriously, like she thought it was like a real phobia that I was having, you know? And it's like, nah, it's not. Not yet. You know what I mean? Especially because it's like I'm not hooking up with anybody, right? You know, with any chicks. No, but seriously, I'm like not. You know what I mean? Like it's, I don't think it's a real concern. Um, right, but it is what it is. So, um, anyway, sorry, the stream is terrible again, but uh, the other thing was that she asked me. This is pissing me off. Sorry. Um, she asked me like, "Oh, is there like a different time?" This was like a few days. Something came up about that kind of thing, and then she was like, what do you? Oh, temptation. That's what it was. There was like a Bible quote, something something, temptation, and she was like, "What temptation do you have, if any?" And I kind of thought about it for a little bit, and I was like, I mean, honestly, just like boilerplate lust, lol. You know what I mean? Fucking bullshit. I'm sorry. This is awful. I'm probably gonna stop streaming soon because it's really crazy how the stream is sucking. But I'm gonna close out of everything else just to make sure, just to try to make it work. But right. So I said that I just was answering a question. But I'm not like, a struggle, I'm not like a phobic of a girl biting my dick off or and really struggling with lust. It's just, especially with the Christian stuff and all that kind of thing. Whatever, you just want to be mindful or whatever, right? I mean, and um yeah, I think she just kind of took it more seriously. And then so she had said like, "Oh, you're a young man, you should." She said something to the effect of like he's learned a lot of over his years, and I was like, I'd love to talk to him. It's like obviously, right. And then everyone's got their own, I think, kind of unique takes right around here. But look, anyway, the thing is that, yeah, and then so she took it upon herself to send that message, and whatever. I mean, in some way, it's kind of endearing, right? But I was also just kind of like, okay, this is not. Sorry, I was buffering, but I was saying she took it upon herself to send an email, and I'm like, in some way, it's kind of endearing, but I'm also like, okay, this is like not. It's not actually a deal. But I appreciate your response, and then you reach out to me. Anyway, it's just good to even just have, um, have it down on the just being able to be in touch, man. I would definitely. Sorry, it's still sucking, but basically, I'm down to talk. This is crazy. Sorry, this is crazy. The fucking. Thanks, by the way. Sending, might want to check out the notes once I can open my stupid mail. This was working pretty well for a while. Anyway, that was kind of funny. I'm refreshing this. But yeah, it's like. Well, it's like this. I don't know if you're gonna catch everything I'm saying, but it's very simple. Like, I obviously have my feelings about sex and stuff and whatever, but it's just, I just know at the end of the day, I don't want to be like a hypocrite because, obviously some hot chick, right, comes up to me, hey, you want to do it, whatever. I mean, it's gonna be hard to say no. I am a I do feel like the like real ideal good is sort of like, you know, sex and marriage, right? Um, but it's like, as far as I'm concerned, I think that like lust is probably the most common and like difficult sin to like deal with, because it is so natural, for lack of a better word, right? Um, but hey, I don't even want to get into all that right now. I just think it's kind of like, it's just good to have a good, healthy self control. You know what I mean? We don't have to start getting all ridiculous. But if you guys have anything to say, I'd be glad to. I don't have that interesting of a take, right? It's just kind of simple. But I do just want to be clear, you know, it's like, I mean, and, you know, whatever. I mean, you know, I'm just saying, you know, it is tough to, like, okay, well, I mean, if you want to, I don't want to talk about him while he's not here. Um, but he's, oh my God, I know, it's like the sloth and the sloth. Hey, you know, well, everybody's, you know, I'm sure you do too, man, you know, but with the lust too, sure, sure. I mean, I do resonate with the nine wing one thing, you know, unfortunately. The lust is very, I think, difficult to deal with. I mean, not exactly the best source always, but like Jesse Lee Peterson was talking about, he's like, it's usually the last to go for men, especially, you know. I mean, that makes sense, you know, because it's like, it's difficult to deal with. But I mean, I wouldn't, you know, I'm not exactly. I mean, you know, I'm whatever. I don't feel good about it or anything, right? But I know that it's just kind of, you know, everyone's got that stuff, right? I don't know. How do you even put it? It's natural to a degree. You just have to have some self control. But anyway, you know, take someone like Bobby though. I mean, he's talked about, he straight up calls it fornicating. I mean, you know, he's real about it. You know, he's like, if I just something he said once, he was like, oh, if I hadn't something something, I would have fornicated by now. And I'm like, lol, that's so funny. I'm like, oh, so you're telling me it's like, you know, it's not that you can't find someone to fornicate with, it's that you're choosing to not fornicate. I mean, to be honest, I that's admirable, you know. When you're a vol cell. The other thing too is like, um I don't know, something else that he said, you, by the way, about the provider stuff. I was reading that something else that could be causing problems. But yeah, I forget. God damn it. Just dropping in and out. Um it's not even worth streaming if it's just going to do this, right? So, I'm about to head out. Uh I'm just going to not look at it and just keep talking. Um Yeah, all you can do is, oh right, no fap. Yeah, he was talking about that too. I was like, oh my gosh, but you know, that's the thing. I do think it's a virtue, right? Like, I mean, you know, if you can control that kind of thing, it's just like anything else. You know, it's that's good. You know, um, because I mean, you know, people obviously think what they want, and you know, we're just animals. I don't really believe that, and I think that the more you can act less like an animal, the better, right? So, I mean, you know, if you're whacking off all the time or whatever, it's like, maybe, you know, try not doing that, right? Um, but it's not like I look down on anybody. I mean, everyone, most people do it to some degree, and it's just a thing too, especially with guys. It's just, I don't know, especially I guess when you're a bit younger and you just kind of have like a sex drive. There's just a fine line there, right? Like people, just like a nice balance. I do like to have that idea of like, look, just because you have a sex drive or whatever doesn't mean you have to become hypersexual or whatever, right? I mean, it's like, give me a break. There's too much there's too much sex positivity going on right now, it's like, okay, easy, right? Like pump the brakes here. It's like, look, I get it. We've had a lot of like repressed sexuality and this and that, but let's not get too carried away. Whatever, right? I don't know. People have different views on it. I do think there's a certain sacredness to it, though. That's all I'll say. But yeah, no greed and envy or coveting others. Pussy situations. What does that even mean? I mean, covet. I mean, sure, yeah, yeah. Just don't be cheating or whatever. I'm on top chat. I don't know if maybe. Here it is. Americans, stop saying to be honest. It implies you lie most of the time. Now it's a figure of speech and you're not more dishonest than others. To be blunt is much better. Well, I guess that's the figure of speech, but when people say that though, it's annoying. It's irritating because it's like, what I mean when I'm saying that. That doesn't mean that I'm lying most of the time. I get what you're saying, but it's a little bit pedantic. But I get that. It's basically, to be blunt is more the specific, is more specific. It's such a habit though. I don't know that I'll be breaking it anytime soon. I mean, sometimes I say to be blunt or to be frank. Frank is kind of a funny word though. I guess you're right. It's kind of an American thing though. Just like saying like or I say like constantly. Just a filler word. Accuracy in language is important when you speak to foreigners. Yeah, sure, but the idea when you say to be honest, I guess you could go the full way and say that you're not being honest all the time, but it's more like conditional to the topic. Like what it's really implying is that what you're about to say may not be taken that well, you know? Like like what I was just talking about, right? It's kind of like, yeah, I'm about to be perfectly honest. Shield your fifis. It's funny. It's like, I'll just be like, I'm just gonna be honest with you. You know, you probably shouldn't be masturbating all the time. You know what I mean? Like, that would be something to say. Because it's like you can understand that what that's coming from is an idea that, like, that might sound judgmental or something. Um, like, you know, I'm just being honest, whatever, right? You know, to be honest, right? To be honest with you, watching porn all the time is probably not good. You know, like whatever. Or just watching porn and not even masturbating. You're just scrolling through different porn. It's kind of weird. I just like all the different titles, all the different aesthetics. Listen, I'm an aesthetic tourist. It's all about the artistic approach. The Artistic Approach with C.J. O'Connell. It's my show. My show name. Well, I mean, what else is going on? I'll stream for a few more minutes, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to even really talk about. I mean, there's always something to talk about, but like, what really would be good to talk about, especially with this thing cutting in and out the way it is. It's such an absolute like it's like not to be crude, but it is. It's kind of like a sexual thing. It's kind of like keeps stuttering. Like it's like there's a choppiness to it. It's really it doesn't feel it's not smooth. It's very discomforting, you know. Not to be sexual, but or like anything. I mean, I don't know. Like it just doesn't flow well. Like me watching, it's me looking here and seeing error. Stream is healthy. Error. Stream is healthy. No data. Stream is healthy. Warning. Stream is healthy. And then looking and seeing green, red, yellow, orange, red. I'm like, oh, I'm like fucking having a seizure. But see, suddenly now it's decided for the last like 4 minutes to work fine, so that's great. Grape, grape. That's one for the boys. For the boys back home. Salute. Salutations. 55, 55. Amazingly fived. I guess that's a bit of a lucky number today. Shouts out to the number 5. We're gonna have to start having a number of the day, like Sesame Street or something, or a letter of the day, word of the day. Maybe I don't know, image of the day. I already kind of do have that. I usually have like a special lady too. Well, this is Rose McDowell from Strawberry Switchblade. Um, yeah, I didn't really get a chance to get too aesthetical and ethical here, but it's definitely a bit of a vibe. Just with the way the stream is, you know. Oh, I don't know. Oh, chill vibey vibe. Where's Kami9 at? She needs to come through because she knows what I'm talking about a lot of the kind of music and film stuff I'm into. Followed each other on Last FM. Pretty dope. Pretty crazy. She's got amazing taste. I need more people to follow me on Last FM. Check out the vibe. Check out my socials. If you go to my About, I have straight up 8 different links to all my other stuff. Every single thing I've ever done. I also gotta work on the the Chill Island Oasis of Truth and Reality playlist, which is public, but I've made it way too big and filled with all sorts of stuff. It's a lot of Christian stuff, and it's a lot of like meditative stuff, but there's some music, some film. Oop, it's my other stream. The non-stream, of course. This is a real stream. But the, what was I gonna say? Oh, right. That playlist needs some work. I gotta just do some... I don't know if you would call it SI, but it's kind of SI maintenance with the work here, curation. Look, that's my stuff, man. I mean, I love to curate and create, but if I am not so lazy, this stream is the most creative thing I do these days, other than just writing and doing a bit of whatever, improvising stuff. Again, this is the thing, like, look, it is what it is. I could easily be an ISFJ. I'm still good at this, all of this stuff, relatively speaking, you know. In fact, if that's how it's going to be, well, mine's just more honed in, you know, which, like, I don't mind. I mean, look at how crazy people can be when they're all up in their NE. It's like, dude, it's like you have all of these different ideas and none of them are good, right? I would much rather have good ideas, right? But, you know, whatever. There's just where it gets so interesting, because it's kind of like, well, that's not any, and that is, and this is the, you know, it's like, oh my gosh. I'm so typed out these days, you know? That's why, again, I'd rather just see what people think, I mean, from the vibe. Because I really don't perception manage, but it's true that I do get along with most people. Unless you're really messing with my, like, FI and SI stuff, I would say, we're probably good. Like, everyone that comes around here is great, you know? Like, not knock on wood and God forbid, right? I mean, honestly, it's so funny, by the way, because when Eric brought up the legend Michael Smith, like, the only, I don't even want to get too into it, but, like, when he was calling everybody rapists because of the type stuff, I knew what he meant. I just was like, okay, well, stop saying the word rape, right, and rapists on the stream, and, like, that's, you don't want to get, like, it's like that sounds like a criminal accusation. The thing is, though, is he said it was metaphorical, and I shouldn't have to explain that and this and that, right? So, okay, so what I'm trying to say is, yes, I definitely handled it, right, in FE terms, but he also, it was very close, because that did have a certain FI resonance, SI resonance in terms of being, like, discomforting. But it actually, weirdly enough, wasn't even until I was sort of complaining to Peter for a little while on stream when he left, and then he came back. Michael Smith came back, and he was like, something something, you're being like a simpering beta about it. And it's like, then I kind of started to get mad because it was like he was like insulting me, like for real. And then, but then it got weird because he was like, he's like, oh, you're a 9 just like me, and you know, get angry, CJ, you know. And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna get angry because you're telling me to. The whole thing was almost more like funny than anything. Um, Obviously, though, no, I don't want people calling people rapists. And I mean, he was ridiculous, and he was being rude to everybody. Yeah, it was not good, but the thing was like, I wasn't like FI triggered. Now, this is the thing that's interesting, right? Like, now, I guess I'm relatively, basically, I'm kind of lucky and blessed because there's not a lot of stuff that I'm going to get straight up angry and offended by unless you're messing with my SI or you're like pointedly attacking my FI, you know? And people usually don't do that, at least around here. And the only times things like that ever get heated have only ever really been with my family or with like close friends, you know? Um but this is why people think that I'm so FE and stuff, because there's just not a lot of stuff like, I don't know, man. It just gets me I'm like, I don't know why people think that, cuz look, I could very easily be FE. I'm totally not disputing that. I just think whatever it is, I think I have pretty good FE and good FI. And but the point is, like, even if I was an FI type, the only reason you think I'm an FE type is because I get along well with people, provided they don't attack me. You know what I mean? Like, is that not like just a relatively kind of just human experience? Like, I don't know about you guys, right? But like you know, like what else is there to say? You know, like I'm gonna just start getting pissed off for no reason. Dude, I get pissed off about the stream not working and all of that kind of thing. But like, I don't know. I just don't know what people expect from FI users or whatever, right? Like you're gonna start freaking out because I can't even think of an example. I really can't. I mean, I guess one thing, so I'll use an example that I keep using. Without getting into all of the fucking craziness of the politics, which is why I kind of hate the example, but well, look, I'll keep it short. No, well, I'll just use a general example. Like when someone something would have to impact me personally. Like um like that's not funny, like my grandma died from that. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Um like or like if someone was questioning like all I can think of is conspiracy stuff, right? So like for me, everything is on the table because I'm not really personally impacted by any of that kind of thing, right? So I don't want to get into that territory, but like you like it just begs the question though, like, well, what am I invested in? It's like, well, it is, I guess it's, but it's something that I have to be mindful of with other people, because like they may have some attachment that I don't have, but I'm like willing to make a comment on it. Like okay, so like I'll use a kind of controversial example, okay? Um I've never in my life seen, and this is not, this is personal experience, whatever. I look, I live in like a blue state, very liberal, Massachusetts, you know. But I did go to school. There were plenty of black people, whatever, all sorts of different kinds of people. Yeah, it's majority white, you know what I mean? But like, this is a decent percentage of people. In fact, the thing is that because it's majority white, you would think that it would be living, and that's the place that I live in. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but like I've never seen it, and I'm not right, technically, right? So like I'm not going to be bothered by that. But someone else could have easily been bullied or seen bullying or whatever it is, and be like, how dare you? Like, because this is a thing that happens. And my instinct isn't, I don't know if you can kind of get what I'm getting at, but like it's all just dumb. Like, and I just wonder, like, doesn't everybody kind of do that? And as you get older, you learn to kind of not be too because like I'm not gonna say that just because I have an experience that it's not real. I've never been to France, right? But France obviously is real. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, and furthermore, if you were going to insult a French person, or like, okay, if you were gonna say like, dude, France sucks, I have no personal attachment to that, so I'm not going to be offended, and I'm certainly not going to get offended for the French. That's just your opinion. I might give my take on something and be like, well, you know, I mean, I like, there are aspects of France and all sorts of cultures that are great and blah blah blah, you know, whatever. Um, but I'm not going to get offended because I don't have that same like FI sentiment, you know. But now here's where it gets interesting though. Like, if you were gonna hate on me, let's just let's just start with something kind of superficial, right? Like being Irish, right? Like, or whatever, having Irish heritage. You're like, oh, you stupid Irishman, leprechaun, whatever. I don't know. I mean, I even then I probably won't be too mad unless it persists. But it will bother me a little bit because I do have a sort of personal investment there, right? Now, if you start ratcheting that up, right? You start saying, "Hey, you fucking loser," whatever. Then you're gonna start pissing me off, right? Or you start talking bad about my family or something like that, right? It's like, then you're really fucking with me, right? And I'm gonna get pissed off, you know. So it's funny to feel like I even have to explain something like this, but that to me is like clearly to do with FI attachment and SI experience, right? Like but I can still like recognize when something is I don't know, maybe a little over the line, or generalizing too much about like a group, right? But you know, in simple terms, like if you want to, if someone makes fun of a group or some kind of person that's not me, I don't really care because it's not my group, right? So I just don't get where that's FI to me, you know, that it doesn't really make sense to me that that's anything else, you know? Like being offended for other people. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Because FI is definitely relational, right? But it's like, I don't know. I want to try to not think of functions too much, but what's the vested interest? Like, you have to be, there has to be some kind of vested interest, right? Like, even if it's just you want to fight misinformation or something, or you are whatever, you're a freedom fighter, I don't know. If it's okay. Yeah, I mean, I can read a room pretty well, I guess. I never feel the need to though. I mean, how many times do you walk into a room and feel like you really need to suss out what everyone's all about? I mean, I don't really do that much and go to that many places, so like maybe I would if I was in like a dangerous like part of a city. Sorry, it's buffering. Video, and I was like, and he described that some of the FI stuff as being like putting yourself in someone's shoes. And I'm like, well, that's what I do if I'm ever going to you know, how would you feel, right? You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing can be very effective because it can be like I can understand that I have my own subjective thing or whatever, but if I then imagine, well, how would you feel if you were this person and you heard this thing and you felt discriminated against or something like that, right? I'd be like, oh, well, you know, I probably wouldn't feel very good, you know, like, um, in my whole life, bad mood or whatever, I can be like, oh, just whatever, crazy, how whatever, like, I don't know, this group of people, yeah, right. Um, but then you catch me at a different moment when maybe I'm in a more of a good mood. I'll kind of be like, I'll kind of be like, yeah, I get why they are like that. Anyway, look, I am not going to sit here and pretend that I'm Mr. Empathy, but I can pretty much be empathetic to just about anyone and anything. For better or worse, you know? I mean, well, I guess, I mean, it depends. I mean, if unless it's like horribly evil, you know? But, dude, that's why it's so almost dangerous. You have to be careful what you like entertain. That's my whole thing, you know? Like, you have to be careful with what you're like gonna empathize with in some way, right? Dude, you can yeah, and I always think of FE as like sympathy and FI as empathy. But I don't know. I mean, I'm curious what you guys think cuz like I do like to sort of try to keep the conflict at bay, right? As well as I can and like I like to have it's I guess it could be FI the relational thing, but it's kind of like I try to have good relations with people as much as I possibly can. I guess basically until I can't, right? And like that only can happen if you're pressing on my like SI and my FI. It's really the only thing I stuff I can think of, right? Like, and I guess what I'm saying furthermore is that I'm lucky in the sense that I don't have that many FI sentiments that are going to be easily pressed upon because I've been sort of blessed to not be like I don't have like a lot of like trauma, right? So, but the good Lord knows, seriously, that I would not. Look, I said this recently and it's corny, but I do kind of believe, and this is just again personal experience, but that basically, yeah, I can see exactly why people wouldn't like this saying because if they've had horrible battles, it's like, what are you talking about? But I kind of feel like that God gives you the battles that you can handle, as they say, you know? Oh yeah, that's where the Winston's mom thing came up about temptation, right? Which was interesting to consider, but anyway, what I'm saying is put it this way, right? So like, I mean, I don't like to say scared, obviously, but basically, what else word are you gonna say, right? I don't fucking fuck it. I'm not. I'm not. There's a Sonic Youth song like I'm not afraid to say I'm scared, but I'm saying I'm scared to see a fucking car accident on the side of the road. I mean, like seeing like if I just see like a dead body or something. Um, because you can just there we go, and now I see that, and now it's gonna pop into my head forever. Because whether it's SI or whatever you want to call it, it's OCD, whatever. I mean, look, I'm Im, I'm impressionable, easily impressionable in that way, like strong impact, right? So, and Lord knows that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't know. It's hard to justify when you start talking about people who have had horrible trauma and it's like, well, what do you mean that's their battle that they can handle? And I kind of wonder, like, well, maybe you know, maybe they have a certain fortitude, right, that they can, that they're meant in some way to overcome. I don't know, but all I know is that in my situation, if I were to be very traumatized by all sorts of things, it would not end well. It would not go well. I'd be dead. You know what I mean? And I'm just saying, I think God knows that about me. I don't know. That it's somehow part of my thing. So, what I'm trying to say is, I'm very, very blessed to not be traumatized because if I were, I would be very traumatized. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I know that I hate people saying that, but yeah, and I wonder what you guys think about that kind of thing because I mean, some people go through, dude. Some people see stuff. It's just different reactions, to different things, dude. Like people. I'm just kind of unfortunately impressionable in that way and kind of reactive. You know what I'm saying? So like, I can't just like, and I know no one really can, but some people can do it better. They're resilient. There's a kind of resiliency that I want to build. But dude, I'd be scarred by seeing a dead body on the highway. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously nobody wants that or blah blah blah, but um yeah, I don't know. I don't that's all I really have to say, right? But I guess oh, well, look, so everyone's always talking about FI people and oh, their trauma and like that's well, I'm just saying consider that okay, well, okay, so like put it this way, like if my life had gone differently, I don't know, just tell me what you guys think about this kind of thing because I do think of it as being like FI. I've just been very lucky to not be thrown into the thrown to the wolves because if I if there was something in my life, God forbid, right? Like if uh okay, so every single example I want to think of is so fucking like controversial, but like okay, let's say you're like I'm just let me just think for a second. Like no, it's not even that difficult. It's just to understand, right? It's just personal experience and personal sentiment. Like if something bad happened to me that had to do with like a certain topic and then people were talking crap about it and being crazy about it, then I probably would step up and say, "Hey, shut the fuck up. Like I dealt with this, right?" Which isn't really an argument, but I would probably be upset, right? And probably let people know that uh like you know, um but I've not really had that kind of thing. I mean, for the most part. Like, I mean, so it probably just comes off like I'm more FE than FI. And it does beg the question, right? Of like, well, you know, I'm just saying, I can only care so much about the things that actually, impact me. Like, so again, like if I was just some kind of minority and I had maybe dealt with some kind of oppression or had seen people deal with it or whatever, and I'd probably be, I probably would become, um, I mean, I don't know about like nowadays, but I would have a different view, right? But isn't this just kind of human stuff? Like, I mean, like if I was black, right, and like, yeah, the stuff with like the police or whatever would certainly be a controversial topic. You know what I mean? Like so I can sort of sit here and say, oh, you know, this and that. Don't be, don't get in trouble then or whatever, right? It's like, I mean, yeah, but then you're talking about if it's like a disproportionate punishment and this and that. So it is very experiential though. So like so maybe it's me and maybe it is it could easily also be SI over FI for sure. You know. Jung said the psyche is like a closed room, bad images like dead bodies enter the mind but can't leave. Well, yeah, well, and he was a friggin' INFJ, so I don't know. I don't know that any of this stuff is super type specific. But it's true that some people handle it differently and some people are a bit more resilient to that kind of thing. Like, put it this way, I could never be a paramedic or something like that. Um, I'd be having to freaking do heavy drugs just to go to sleep. You know what I mean? It's crazy. But the thing is though is like I don't even know. Like it's just like any everyone kind of has those problems. But yeah, I don't know. Interesting to sort of float around, but what are you gonna do? I don't even know if type is that real, you know. Some people will faint with sight of one drop of blood, so there's big differences. Yeah, I mean that's true. It's just I don't know that it's typological or anything, right? Well, I guess that could be SI though or something, right? Are you worried that planting your flag on a type will cause other people to treat you differently or invalidate you? Hmm. Not. I don't know. Not necessarily. It's something to. It's obviously something to consider, right? But I don't know. I just want it to be. I just want my perception of myself. Sorry, it cut off again. Sorry, it cut. Sorry, it cut off. Um, I just want my perception of myself to be congruent with others' perceptions of me, which they usually are. But once you start getting into typology, you know, I always thought it was pretty cut and dry that I was just probably some kind of NFP. But once I started streaming and stuff, even years ago when I was going in the whereby with people, like no one ever really questioned it. The only thing they started thinking was that, yeah, no one ever thought I was anything else than an NFP. But then like going on here and getting into stuff, it's I mean I've suddenly now people think I'm half the damn types, right? Um, but it's kind of interesting though because this is the first time I've ever done something like this where it's just straight up me ranting and talking to you guys and whatever, but just like you can pretty much see everything I'm doing, right? And the idea that people are getting all of these different ideas of it, they're not that wildly different, right? But they're different enough to where it's half the frickin' types, right? Almost, right? Um, and that's obviously that's a little bit like discomforting, right? But I've sort of started to have a bit more like uh having kind of more of like a peaceful view of it. Like instead of being so hung up on it, like cuz like put it this way. Look, I if anything, I have an investment in the idea of myself being good at NEFI stuff. Like I can be like I'm a you know creative kind of funny whatever verbal sort of quirky I mean that's a stupid word but you know what I mean like just all the things that would come to mind expressive whatever able to express myself well and I know my own feelings well you know I'm very like in tune with my sentiments and things like that and how I feel my morals my values and things um though I do want to like harmonize with people right um but yeah inevitably it's all just about being like you know creative artistic whatever kind of person right and but I think of all of that stuff as being decidedly FINE and just everything else I don't think of myself as being that I don't actually like I think of myself as being good at the NF functions and not very good at the ST functions so then when people start telling me even if it is like well meaning that it's like well I mean you kind of seem like you're like in some other type like you're not, it's something else. I can't help but to think of it as being like, oh, so like you think that I like don't, that I'm not that creative, and that I'm like not tending to my own feelings, and that I'm tending to like other people's feelings, right? Like that's the problem, right? And then that's where I start getting kind of like pissed off a little bit, you know? A little bit. Well, I go back and forth because, for example, like, it's like with Eric, right? Like, the fact that look, this is the thing about Eric, right? Is like, he thought I was an ENTP at first, which the first type that I ever thought that I was ENFP, and I basically thought that for years until I started thinking, INFP makes more sense. But then I started coming around here, and not many people are really getting the INFP vibe, probably because I'm so talkative and whatever, and I have pretty good FE. So Eric is like, oh, he's an ENTP, but then he types me, and he sees inevitably that I'm not an ENTP, which like I don't think that I am. Uh, he instead gives me the dual function, type, which is ISFJ, right? Now, I start thinking, okay, that's interesting because it's like in some way closer, but still feels off. And then I'm thinking, like, but I can't even be mad because he's typing me the same type as like his like best friend ever and like his mom. And he thinks that ISFJs can be creative, that they're like, you know what I mean? Like, he has like a very charitable view of it. So it's like I can't even be mad, you know what I mean? Um but yeah, inevitably though, I have such stock in the idea of like basically calling what I consider myself to be good at FINE stuff, you know? Um then suddenly to think of myself as doing as doing SIFE stuff as being like my primary skills, I'm kind of like, I mean, I'm sorry. I know that it's a personal viewpoint, but I feel like I'm being demoted. You know what I mean? Like, um, it's like, nah, you're good at like keeping your equilibrium and like dealing with other people. It's like, no, fuck that. Like I definitely will grant you that I've been way more pain in my ass, right? No pun intended. Um, it's like, uh, I would like to be like free of like SI stuff in some way. You know what I mean? Uh, just me. It's just crazy. It just gets me thinking. But I'll tell you this though, it feels right to me to aim for that. To be ISFJ. You know what I mean? Like, dude, ISFJ, you're not gonna. It just seems like the best way to be. Like, if there's a sort of true north of type, it's probably something like an ISFJ or an ISTJ. Take it as a compliment, really, especially from Eric. Because I get the vibe. Like, we get along well, you know. And I think from his perspective, he just cannot see. Look, this is what's going to happen, by the way, too. If I retest, and it's um and I'm able to show off my considerable NE skills, which whatever, they could be better, but they're whatever, just with like word stuff or whatever, is like I'm good with language and things like that. If I'm able to show off that kind of thing, well, there's a chance that he'll just say that I'm an ESFJ instead, right? And then I'm really gonna be pissed off, right? Because it's like, okay, I'm not FI ignoring, right? And you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not fucking FI ignoring, you know? I'm not NI polar or the Dula's check either, he's because I'm not this like, I don't know, soft spoken wallflower, I guess. So I guess I can't be an INFP, you know. I mean, look, I'm just saying, at the end of the day, I don't even think at this point that I'm either of those types. I actually kind of wind up going back to ENFP. I just hate the idea of being polar TI because I like to think I can be pretty objective, you know? Anyway, yeah, I write all the time. Like, I'm a pretty good writer. I just don't share my writings with anybody. Um, hold on, sorry, I gotta go live chat instead. Um, no, the thing is though too is that like I remember, wow, I'm kind of sounding like an ISFJ right now, you know, and then that's what he typed me. So I can't, again, I can't say that he's wrong, and I can't say that and I can't even be mad at it because at him because he even the other day was talking about this kind of thing, and he was saying like you're a creative smart guy, like it's just, you know, I laughed at that's an interesting point, by the way. I think the Inky Pinkies are kind of difficult, if I'm being honest. Like, um, but if he was gonna give me something like he did with Oliver, the softball stuff, where he's like, give me a bunch of whatever synonyms for concubine, you know, you could see that he could think of like two or three in like 10 seconds. But I could probably think of like I could think of many. But look, the thing is maybe it's not NE, it's just great vocabulary and language skills, you know. It's just the look, I just I don't you just tell most people that you're an ISFJ, and they're gonna think of all sorts of different stuff. You think synonyms are NI too? Well, whatever. I'm just I can be good at that stuff, that kind of like word stuff. I've been good. Look, and another thing too is like I never had to practice, for example, to be like good with like at music. Like I'm not saying I'm like amazing, and I know like practically nothing about theory, but I think pretty objectively, like freaking baby, like 2 years old, you know, and you ask anybody around, especially my family and stuff, like it's kind of legendary, you know. Not to be like egotistical, but I'm just saying, like, I mean, I write songs, and that there's like they almost the some of the stuff I've written, like they've almost become like memes, you know, with like the family and things. Like there's just all sorts of things. Like I've always kind of been this sort of NE machine, I think, but I've just gotten rusty in some ways. It's just but it's just crazy to think like, oh man, like it's actually like the opposite, you know? It's like I don't know. Um yeah, it's all just kind of subjective, you know, with the type. What's up, Chaos Fuel? The chat delay, there's not really any delay. It's just the stream keeps cutting out. I'm definitely gonna stop streaming soon, probably in like exactly like 20 minutes. Um, but interesting. It's good to see the chat kind of going here, talking type and stuff. Like, very PF for sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's well. By the way, that's the thing. I don't really share a lot of my work because it's kind of like personal. Uh very P, not very J. Are you talking about poem stuff? But yeah, it's also interesting. It's not MBTI. And I was also going through his videos. He seems like he never types anybody NFP. I'm like, since when are there so many NFJs walking around? Yeah, well, I slept for a few hours and then I woke up at like 1 a.m. It was just, you could really just make a case for anything at this point. It's like oh, you're really good at like NE stuff. It's like, oh no, that's actually FE. It's like, oh, you're not good at SI stuff. It's like, actually you are good at SI stuff. Like, it's just fucking dumb. Yeah, I mean, I know, and it's like I'm not trying to be cringe about it, but you know, the fact of the matter is like anything I write or is it's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing in some way to like think of it this way. By the way, so like Eric is like a brilliant musician, right? Um, he knows how to write songs like nobody else, but he he is not really. There's really no fi there. You can tell this is ENTP music. And I know a lot of music. Um, I mean, look, and for better or worse, like my shit, the kind of stuff that I do is pretty freaking fi. Uh, it's just a matter of making that stuff kind of ni good and not just ne good. You know how that is. It's just funny though too because Eric knows what's up about that stuff as well, but he's allegedly ni ignoring. I'm like, what the? But it's true though that fi kind of stuff I don't think really appeals to him. I don't know. I'll have to bust out some stuff one of these days. It's just I even the other day I felt compelled, well, because I was watching Eric, because he can be inspiring in that way. I actually did write a bit of a song, but like yeah, I guess. Well, I like that. I like the word brilliant. Um no, I is a little verbose and a little bit like it's like a very detached kind of thing, but there is a lot of good stuff in there, and I do feel like although I've heard a lot of it a lot at this point, right? Some of the stuff is really good. Um I think I marvel more at the craftsmanship and of like certain parts to the songs rather than them as like wholes. But I mean, that's cool. I get that. I mean, I don't know what you guys sort of think about I don't know, songwriting quality and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm like I mean, I constantly write almost cuz I fucking I know this sounds corny, but I feel like I just kind of like have to, you know. What am I gonna do? Just fucking, I don't know. It's just something I've done my whole life. But it's like a processing method. That's why it's like hard to that's why it's hard to gauge like, well, is this something that I want to like put out into the world, you know? Like there's just so many questions to ask about that kind of thing, right? Like the main question is like, well, is it good, obviously? But like I need it to be like really good to want to put it out, you know. The only, again, you know, just kind of whatever. There's, you know, there's nothing really personal there, you know. But I do covers on here, and I improvise and do all sorts of stuff like that. So I don't know if you heard me because it cut off again, but I was saying I do covers on here, and I do all sorts of just kind of improvisation, but to be honest, it's my favorite part of even streaming, you know, because I'll go back and watch it. I'm my own biggest fan, you know. No, I mean, so you know sometimes, but it's like you know, practice makes perfect. I don't know. Well, that's the thing. It's never going to be like perfect, but I can admire when it's good. Um, what's up, Chris Chapin? Um, anyway, I don't even know what the point was about that. Well, just the idea that it's like personal, right, or whatever, right? Uh, it's just kind of like, oh, okay. What I was gonna say is that even singing can feel a little bit like personal, but it's been really good for me to make a genuine attempt on here. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, it can be hard to, you can feel the urge to be detached in some way, like maybe be a little bit jokey about it. But like if I'm by myself, like I'm not joking. You know what I'm saying? Um, so put it this way. So it's been really helpful coming on here to try to eliminate that urge in myself to be like detached in when I'm like singing and things, because it's like personal, you know. But the next step though, is to actually start like sharing like work, whatever you want to call it, you know, stuff that I actually like write. But I just, it's true though that I write more pieces than like songs. I used to write more songs. The thing is I'm not that great at guitar. I'm kind of limited. I literally I play in that weird kind of backward, the upside down way. I play the guitar basically upside down. So sometimes I'll write stuff and I'm just kind of like, I don't know, this is kind of basic or something, you know? Um, and then I'm like, well, you know, if I get in the, if I actually record something that's like good, uh, I could put it out, but I would have to get in the studio. I don't know. Oh, it's just a lot of work that goes into it. But I don't know. I think I'm making slow but steady progress, you know. But the stream is just something to fuck around on and get good at stuff, you know? Like and to hang out with you guys. But I absolutely would like, one of these days, obviously I would want to put out like an album or something, and make like a down all sorts of shit, record a bunch of shit. It's just improv and like whatever, but not really solidify that much, right? So it's fucking buffering again. But I was just saying I'll write a lot, I'll improvise a lot, but at the end of the day, it's hard to solidify stuff. But it is kind of funny. I mean, I have like a pretty massive collection of stuff over the years that I've just never put out. But I mean, I'm just being honest. It's not good enough. It's really not. And it's all unfinished. I get too like I'm not trying to act like capricious or anything. Like but like it's just true though that I just move on to other stuff. I'm just like, all right, I don't feel like fucking working on this anymore. I'm sick of it already. You know, um, I'll just kind of do something else now or whatever. But that's actually not a good mentality for if you want to get literally anything good done. But I don't know. It's like occurred to me, like, I mean, that's the whole thing is it doesn't even really matter about like type. Like I'm still good at all of this stuff. Um my biggest hurdle at this point is to just like actually put stuff out. That's that's good. So but the stream is a start. Us being fucking gay sucks ass. The thing is, well, I don't even know what to say. Well, the thing is like you're right, but you kind of do have to grind a little bit. Like I've always wanted to be like very prolific, but it turns out that I'm way too fucking I don't know if perfectionist is the right word, but like if anything at least just way too fucking conscious of like the quality. Like I don't know. I could definitely start putting out demos. That's always been a thing, right? Just call it a demo, right? I love that. Just put out a demo or a mixtape or something to quantify it or in a way that's not it's less legitimate, you know what I mean, or whatever. Then that way you can get away with putting out stuff you'd think is not as good as it could be. But oh my god, like but I've definitely been building up to knowing what it is I'm trying to do. It's just taken such a long time. It's like crazy. I got top chat on again. Uh oh. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, the live stream thing is sort of naturally extroverted. But yeah, I don't know. Eric's music is pretty good. I mean, he's a master of his craft. But poets, yeah, I mean, yeah, I just like writing anything. It's just hard to get stuff down in a way that feels, I don't even know, legitimate. I guess what would be ideal would really, I mean, I've always wanted like to one of these days, I'm gonna have a studio and I'm gonna put out like 10 albums in like 5 years. I'm gonna put out like 10 films in 5 years. Sorry, it was buffering. Again, I love it. I said I'm gonna make five. Up, do, bloppo. Anyway, I don't know. He has some good stuff. He just is always coming up. I'm like, all right, enough about Bob Dylan. My God, I've been talking about him for years. The cow jumped over the moon and ran away with the spoon. Lamp posts. Well, decided to work again. I'm the biggest fan of the stream sucking. Bobby commented saying something. I love. To clarify, I do like the Jesus of Nazareth movie. I really do. I just also like Mel Gibson. But see, I didn't know he'd seen Jesus of Nazareth. Yeah, that movie's perfect. But like, I mean, Mel Gibson, whatever, dude. He's okay. But yeah, that's pretty cool about Dave Mustaine. But I don't know. I'm sorry. It's kind of pissing me off how this keeps cutting in and out. It's really, really bad. There's nothing I could do about it. Honestly, you want to see me get pissed off dealing with this shit right now. I want to fucking drop kick this goddamn piece of shit. It keeps saying it's cutting in and out. The cow jumped over the moon and ran away with the spoon. Lampposts in the dead of night. The priest knows not what he says. It's the exact same thing I just said. But I wanted to say it again in case it cut off. Because I think it's pretty good. That memory recall, though? Oh my gosh. SI Dom confirmed. How about a mommy Dom? Am I right? I'm more into that. Freaking. Whatever, I'm not gonna be crude, but you know. about femdom, you know? Come sit on this dick. Some femdom, though, you know? That's my favorite type. These are a few of my favorite types. Nobody likes ENTJs and ESTJs, though. Pretty much every other type is good. I mean, I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, look, the only reason why is because even though ESTJs are a little bit better because they're just focusing on like practical stuff, but ENTJs are basically the worst type of what it is that they want and and they just bulldoze over everybody else to get it. Not always, but I was just thinking that like it seems very obvious that they're the worst types, or that then the ENTJ is the worst type. It's funny because I've never really been that into reading, but I've always been very into writing. So much for a observer type or whatever. No, I'm joking. I don't know. I'm just too lazy to even read. Like, oh my god, sitting down and like reading like 400-page book by some random dude. I'm like, oh god, I'd rather write my own stuff. Johnny Cash is good. Gent. Well, I like some stuff like that. Car Bomb, though? I'm into them. It's just not all the time. That's funny, though. It's not good for you. It's all good, though, because like, I gotta head out soon anyway. It's just, I want to be able to come on later or something, maybe tonight, but I really... Dude, I cannot deal with this shit much longer with the OBS being like this. It's absolute insanity causing. It really is. There's nothing more frustrating than this right now. I guess I'm lucky. I'm privileged. First world problems. I can't even look at it. You know what I mean? I'd rather just be doing something else and just not even look at it. But seeing that fucking red square and seeing the fucking stream is healthy, stream is the error warning, and then just going back and forth, no data. Oh, streaming. I bet it's doing it right fucking now. Dude, it literally... I know it's bad, but, like, the anger, though, it's real. And I don't want to take it out on you guys, you know? But it's, like, genuinely infuriating. That's why I'm just like, fuck it, dude. I'm streaming. I'm giving updated OBS, and it's doing this now. See, this is funny. I just searched OBS update and it says the first thing that comes up, update 23. Fucking piece of shit. No, I'm saying the update caused it. As they start at 1280, 720 at 1500 bit rate. Okay. Well, I'll do that next time. But I can... Right now, I can't change the framing. But I can change the output a little bit. But it's not even worth it. It doesn't even change that much. But anyway, thanks for being here. Fugug Kuyuk. Dude, I've been messing with it this whole time, and I've been going hard, and it hasn't made a damn difference. Not a damn difference. It's just decided to suck now. Dude, I don't even give a shit. I'm just gonna keep streaming forever. And it's gonna be bad fucking quality from now on. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm not gonna stop streaming because of this. I might just have to stop using OBS though. But I don't know. I kind of don't want to not use it. Dude, my internet is fine. But it could be, I don't know, maybe I do need to downgrade the quality. Because it was running at 720 before, and there were no problems. Could it really be that crucial? Do 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 do. Okay. It's around 0.3 megabits per second. 0.26 megabytes per second download. Oh shit. It says server New York. Your internet connection is very slow. Your internet download speed is very slow. Web browsing should work, but videos could load slowly. The upload is 0.76. That's weird because, I mean, I've got full bars, but I am in the basement, so, I mean... But this wasn't a problem before. Or, I don't know, I could probably re-plug in the modem, I guess. I mean, the extender here. I'm not going to do it right now just because I don't want to completely screw it up. But whatever, I'm probably gonna stop. Well, actually, why don't I just plugged it, unplugged it, and plugged it back in. Zenzel says 0.76 is a catastrophe. I'm shocked you can even stream. Damn, that's crazy. I mean, I'm using the 2.4G, not the 5G, but the 2.4G is better. $190. Damn. Megabits per second. In the upload, no, I know. I'm saying it's better. Gotta love that no data. Alright, now it's working. Well, this is interesting because it's got lower bars on 5G, but now that I'm on it, I did a speed test and now it's fast. Let's do one more. Whoa. Now it's really good. Still got a red fucking square though. Hold on. And now I can't see the chat either for some fucking reason. Okay, now I see it. Well, now it says it's very fast. So I get 58.1 megabits per second download, 8.78 megabits per second upload. That's on 5G. It's just that it has 2 bars instead of 3. 2. I only switched to 2.4 because I thought that it was better, and it's the kind of household the house wide connection. Yeah, apparently. I mean, it's bizarre though, because why it shows up as having 3 bars, not 2, but it seems like, yeah, honestly, well, no, it's fucking still not working, but the stream, it says the stream's healthy though. Like OBS is still going back and forth, but this is interesting, right? Thanks, Gentenial. You might have just saved the stream. Doing another speed test. This is interesting to see that you can just do this from Chrome. Internet speed test. And it's wavering a little bit, but no, yeah, no, it's good. It's very fast. 720 guaranteed. Nice. 30 frames per second. That's the thing. It was messing with all these settings. I'm gonna go back and make sure. Yeah, I have it at what I thought was default. It's like 4,570 kilobytes per second, and then 192. Video bit rate is 4,570 kilobytes per second, and audio bit rate is 192 kilobytes per second. Very fast default. Encoder preset is very fast default. But yeah, that upload quality though, 1080. Oh, well, now it's doing the error. It's not. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, fuck you, you know? I guess that's the thing. I also just plug 60. Do not run 60 frames per second in OBS. You only need that for gaming. No one can see a frame difference between 60 and 30 for what you're doing on stream. Yeah, probably not. It's on 30 right now. I don't even know how to change that though. A fucking headache. I guess I didn't. I don't know. I guess I didn't sleep that much. I'm gonna shower and sleep soon because I'm having birthday dinner for my sister tonight. So I try to get some sleep soon. But using the 5G connection. Yo, fuck 5G, but you gotta do what you gotta do, right? It's strange because you got a stronger signal on 2.4. 5 works. I don't know. I'll mess around with it a little bit too because I did just plug back in the like router back and forth, but or whatever, the extender. But the still got a red square, but yellow, green, okay. And it's buffering. Piece of shit. But whatever, it still says the stream's healthy. So I mean, I don't know. Wait, we do? So you can run the 2.4 if you change to 1280 by 720 at 1500 bit rate. Probably, yeah. That's why I had to do a little bit of tinkering. God, this is such a waste of a stream. Both of these streams, but it's all good. Thanks for the help, guys. I really appreciate it, because this will prevent, you know, whatever, right? Further streams sucking. Trust me, no one will be able to see a difference in quality. Well, that's good. If you think 1500, yeah, I think it only starts to really drop in quality if you're going below, like, I don't know, like 500 or something. These are things I never even. I guess it's kind of good learning about this stuff for the just in case, right? To actually know what I'm fucking doing with the. If I call it a bitch, it does what I want. Stupid bitch. Seriously. It's still not fucking working. What the fuck else am I supposed to do? Seriously. Honestly, I can't even stand it anymore. I'm about to head out. Is there any way that I could get a different version of OBS? Watching this thing keep disconnecting and reconnecting is literally, I think, some kind of new form of torture. Could also see what happens when I stream on Twitch. Excuse. Yo. Sorry. Oh my god. It's making me so mad. Isn't this amazing? I have to have this fucking thing plugged in. Oh god. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just retarded. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it could be TI Polar. I don't know. Not having a but what do you mean for forever? Like since like what other than this, comes to mind? Like you don't have a desire and value for the process. Like I mean, it's sort of true. I can't tell though if it's actually if it's TI or TE, right? I don't know, man. I mean, in terms of being able to be relatively objective, it's true that I can be, but in terms of like sheer mathematics and like whatever kind of I don't know data, it's not exactly a strong point, but that could also just be yeah, I don't know, bad TE. I don't really know at this point. I mean, it's so funny though. You just Chaos Fuel comes in here. He's like, "Well, you're definitely not an ENFP." It's like, all right. He would just start changing stuff until it worked. TI investigates all the nuances to get it perfect. Well, that's funny. I mean, I'm inclined to just do the kind of changing stuff till it works, but well, I mean, it depends on what the thing is, but it's true. I mean, even with something like music, like I'm not like a music theory person, right? But it'd be good. You want to have good. You want to have them balanced, but it's true that I would sort of rather just mess around with things until they work, I guess. It takes less thought. It is what it is. I don't want to have to think more than I do already. I don't know. Getting in, that's why I've never gotten into this kind of technical stuff too much. But it's true that, I mean, I don't know, TI is kind of technical as well. Just how things work in a kind of raw, data driven kind of way. I mean, I'm receptive to it, which could be polar. I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely not like a. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's very interesting. I mean, Eric is all like, "Oh, I can definitely see the TI and all that." It's like, well, is it just that I'm well spoken, right? Or because I keep thinking that myself is just sort of like, I mean, maybe I just am good at speaking. It's not exactly TI. And it was like, what do you mean TI? I don't know. TI, I find TI. I've said this a bunch of times now, but kind of like NI is like difficult to define, and then TI is kind of difficult to define, I think. TI is the epitome of technical. Well, yeah, it basically is. I mean, I think of it as like taking something apart to understand the parts and then kind of assembling from there. I guess the assemblage could be TE. But it's definitely a kind of deconstructive process in some way. But in like a sort of good way, not like a in the sense of you of understanding the parts of things. I always think of it as TI is like the parts of things and then the TE is like the sum. But different conceptions, you know. I thought you might have said something else, but it's not showing up here. Oh no, yeah, you did. So you said, and TISE is supercharged technical. Well, I'd imagine if having that SE field of vision kind of thing, right? To be able to really nail the physicality of the thing. Hence why ISTPs are natural troubleshooters, builders, mechanics, etc. They seem to have a natural knack for the blueprints of things. And then you can see that third slot NI there too. Pretty good. Fourth slot FE, right. It's the kind of thing you really get to think about all of them and in a real way. I mean, I was just thinking about this. I always just get so focused on the types, or you know, the types I think I could be instead of just all of them. I mean, I actually could be like an expert if I actually got into all of them. You know. That's why I kind of just want to watch more of Jack's videos on this stuff, just for that. And plus, you can kind of see where you fit in there as well, you know. But, dude, I don't know. It's crazy. I mean, around here, people are like, "Nah, you're TI. It's not FI." And I'm like, yeah. I mean, then it gets into this thing of like, well, it's also ontologically discomforting in a way to think I'm not good with TI stuff. But I keep thinking of it though as being like objective truth or something. Like if I say I'm not good with TI stuff, I'm saying I can't be objective or something, and I don't have access to like objective truth. So I think it's that. But you know, I'd be more than willing to acquiesce on a certain mathematical level. You know, I'm like, or something. Though I can sort of follow along with certain stuff. I'm not horrible at math. I think if I put my energy into it or whatever, I could be good with it. But I mean, nevertheless, you're right. I mean, I've never had the inclination to be very technical. You know, it is what it is. I mean, TE, whatever. You know. But I am inclined to just interface with the thing and kind of just see what happens. You know. You could say it's NE and TE. That's if I'm kind of at my most, you know, productive and positive, usually. Assuming it's like a good thing. Like messing around with music and things, right? Perfectly just NETE kind of flow there. Well, which is like true by the way, you know. That real kind of flow state. Flow state. starring Taylor. Tailor made for amazing truth and reality. The other thing is too is like, wouldn't you think that? I mean, like, I'd be conflicting with USTP types and things like that. I mean, I don't know. I don't. I, or what do you? I don't know. Maybe the type intertype relations is a little bit bullshit. I don't know. Maybe you would think it would have to have some reality though. The thing that's so interesting about the ISFJ though is that it does speak to an ability to be somewhat adaptable. Like I do tend to have a kind of skill, I guess, to whatever kind of get along with most people, you know. Assuming there's stuff to, I don't know, bond over or whatever. Yeah, I know it sounds FI, but I don't know, right? Whatever it is, FI, FE. I don't know. I think they're both pretty good. It is funny though how um, the ENFP actually has the same thing, right? That's amazing. Amazing truth and reality. The Gen Channel says that's a point, putting energy into something from a function standpoint, i.e., trying to overcome a situation you're not inclined to, is reflective of a low stack function. Well, it's true that it takes a bit of work. I mean, good lord. I mean, the you can see on the and I knew this was gonna happen, but it's fine. You know, it could have been a lot worse. It really could have. I watched it again recently. I was like, at least I took it in stride. It's pretty funny. Like it's whatever, right? But man, on Eric's TI questions, you know, I was certainly struggling. You know, I mean, some of the genealogy stuff I could get, which was interesting because it's like, it's SI, right? It's like, well, it very well could be. In any case, though, once it gets into that tricky stuff, look, I'm telling you, if I could write that stuff down and look at it for a minute, I would be able to figure it out. But I can't even fucking retain what he's saying some of these times, you know? If Susie goes to Disneyland and oh my god, dude! By the time he's at the end of the question, I've like, but it's kind of like, it's not that bad, but it's definitely pretty bad. Like I'm like, oh shit, what? Darren goes to the bank on Tuesday. I don't. It's still being stupid, just buffering a little bit. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's so many kinds of things to get into about the type stuff, but you know, I'm kind of typed out and streamed out right now, but like that's a good point though, by the way, deductive logic. I mean, that's important. I mean, you could say deductive logic, TI is deductive logic, and then TE is inductive logic. But right, I'm just laughing though because he says genealogy ones are fair TI questions, but the problem is half the time he fucks up his own questions. It's so infuriating. I mean, like, yeah, the thing is with the NE stuff, like he took forever to frame one question that seemed like an NE thing, and I thought we were gonna it was like playtime, you know. But then I gave a little thing. It wasn't that deep or anything, but he was just kind of like, okay, I know what you are. You're not SFJ, and I'm like, that was so. My answer sounded so, it wasn't, you know, super FE. I mean, sorry, it wasn't super NE. It almost came off FE. Like, but it just wasn't like, I thought we were going to build off of a situation and like kind of keep going. Like, but it didn't turn into that, you know, so that was sort of frustrating. I was just like, oh, okay. ISFJ now. But nah, it's whatever, you know? You can't even get, dude, honestly, you need to like talk to someone for like hours probably, right? To really get a good typing um session. And I mean, ain't nobody got time for that. I mean, honestly, the thing is like even just for friendship's sake, I would love to just talk to Eric and Rachel, just whatever off the stream and stuff, you know. But this is still being gay and retarded, so I'm probably about to head out. But the genealogy ones, I'm actually not that bad at. It's interesting that you think those ones are difficult. Because the problem, I mean, I just can't even, I can't retain the the damn question with some of that stuff about you know, those long-winded questions. They take too long to get to the point, and I need them written down. That's all it is. But the genealogy ones, I've actually realized that I'm actually decent with. Again, it's gonna take a second, but you know, that's fine. Yeah, ordinal logic. I mean, ordinal is another word from TE. Ordinal logic, TE. But I mean, inductive. I don't know if ordinal is exactly a synonym, but these are definitely the kinds of words that people use to describe them. But I also don't think that I'm, you know, that bad at order of operations stuff. But TE polar was sort of a polar where I was kind of like, I'm kind of like, yeah, that makes sense. Like being SE ignoring and TE polar, I was kind of like, oh, that kind of makes sense, you know? It's just everything else kind of. Some of it, being good with the FE, FI stuff makes sense, but it's just the NESI, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm more SI than I wish I was, you know? That's for sure. But people who can do genealogy questions are not retarded, right? Truth. Amazing truth and reality. Lucky for that. Um, it's like, no, just a little bit autistic, perhaps. No, I don't know. Kinda, though. Dude, I honestly wouldn't even be surprised. I was just watching a video. It's funny. It's just like, dude, everyone's autistic nowadays. It's so true. I mean, obviously, there's like like straight up like horrible autism, but everyone's a little autistic in my hometown. But anyway, this quality is still just kind of sucking, and I gotta shower and sleep for a while soon because we're got a birthday dinner. My sister's birthday is tomorrow, and then we have her friends coming over and family coming over tomorrow. But we're going out to dinner tonight, so that'll be good. But I do gotta, I don't know, trying to rest up a bit. I might come on stream later. It's just that, God, people are already waking up right now. I'm like, oh my God. It's the other thing too. I hate having to do anything really. Nah, but it's not about, it's whatever. Of course, you know, I want to do it. It's just kind of like, oh my God, everything. I'm just so lazy, unfortunately. But anyway, like, so we're going out to dinner tonight, and then I might stream after. It's just like, then we had to do stuff tomorrow too. Not that much, but well, it's like her actual birthday tomorrow. But then we're having her friends and family over. So our family, I meant to say we're having her friends and our family over. So just gotta whatever. I don't know. It's not really a big deal though. I mean, I don't really have to do any that much, you know, except be present and give presents. Amazingly punned. But it looks like this connection's sucking the life out of me. No joke, dude. It's crazy, dude. It's unbelievable. I got a green square. It's going back and forth. I mean, it says, okay, it's working now. 947, amazingly enneagrammed. Kind of like 24-hour chat kind of situation. And then when I want to hop on, I can, you know? Like, that'd be pretty sweet. Like there could be Chill Island, Oasis of Truth and Reality, sort of 24/7 stream, and then have like a regular Chill Island Oasis of Truth and Reality stream where I come through and pop off whatever. But probably can't even fucking hear me because it's cutting off, so whatever. Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for putting up with this. Thank you for the help. Genzenial, Boba Fett, Melting Zero, Chaos Fuel. I don't know if whoever else was here, or well, I don't know, but you guys at least gave the some of this like technical help here. So anyway, I appreciate it, guys. I call it a stream because it's sucking right now. Hopefully next time it will be better time. But anyway, I was just saying thanks for the help, you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for being here. And it says no data. Fucking bullshit. I hate this so much. All right, whatever. It's fine. I don't know if you guys can hear me now. I was saying thanks for the help. Thanks for the help. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for being here. I'm gonna head out now. Peace, fam.